So a few weeks ago, my wife and I got into a little bit of an argument, which on its own was pretty surprising because that does not happen very often. But what surprised me the most was that it was over a piece of tech. And like 99% of the time, tech is my lane. When it comes to what tech we have in our house, she's like, yeah, dude, whatever you get is gonna be perfectly fine. But if you know me already, you know that I normally review TVs. Big ones, the kinds with mini LED backlights and quantum dots and all that super nerdy stuff. But a few weeks ago, she started asking about screens for herself. Not for movies or shows, but for something that actually matters, keeping our family from falling apart. So I spent the last 2 weeks testing two smart calendars, which are around the $600 to $700-ish range, to see if they're worth it. So they're not cheap. So today we're gonna be comparing the Skylight Calendar Max to the Cozilla Plus 2 calendar. But before I tell you which one survived in our house and why my wife was right, let me tell you something that I can do for you. Everybody could use a little extra cash, so let me give you a chance to win $200. And all I gotta do is leave a comment and tell me how a smart calendar would help in your daily chaos. Just make sure to leave a way for me to contact you by either leaving your social handle in the comment or have a way for me to contact you on your YouTube account. Give the video a thumbs up. I'll run this giveaway for 10 days, open worldwide. Okay, so quick disclosure, Skylight did sponsor this video, but here's the part that I respect about the whole thing. It was their idea to directly compare the Skylight to Cozyla. It's one of their biggest competitors. They wanted to do it on camera, and I respect the confidence. So that is exactly what we're gonna be doing here today. We're testing these just like I would test any display. We're gonna be comparing screens, features, real-world use, and whether they're actually worth the space on your wall. Now, since this is the viewing angle, of course, we gotta talk about those displays. The Skylight Max has a 27-inch touchscreen at a 2560 by 1440 resolution with an anti-glare coating. Text is sharp, viewing angles are really excellent, and you can easily read it from across the room, even with windows behind you or like a glare from lights around the house. Cozilla went with a 24-inch screen at 1080p. Now they do have 4K models in like larger sizes, but those are far more expensive, so sort of like out of the scope of the price range in comparison to the Skylight. The 24-inch model is still bright, it's still colorful, but those viewing angles will really start to fall apart the more off-center that you look at the screen. There is no anti-glare coating here, so readability will suffer a little bit with reflections. Now, either of these you can orient in either portrait or landscape mode. The calendars will of course automatically adjust depending on how you choose to display it on your wall. Now, Cozyla does have an included mount that will swivel from one orientation to the other, like kind of depending on which one that you want at the time, which is really cool. Skylight, however, uses a fixed mount. It's really easy to install, but they take the more like set it and forget it kind of approach. Now, I'm a first-time dad with a toddler, and my wife and I decided early on that screens in our home, they need to have a purpose. It's not that we think like screens are bad, especially not with like my job, but if we're gonna be hanging another giant display like in our home, it needs to be intentional. You know what I mean? Skylight is a smart home organization command center that knows exactly what it is and stays in its lane very well. Cozilla is a giant Android tablet that just happens to also have a calendar app. Now, initially, when I saw that the Cozilla had the Google Play Store, it had customizable widgets, it had like smart home integration, streaming apps, the tech nerd in me thought like, this is going to be obviously better for us. You have much more flexibility and choice with the Cozilla. However, after my wife tested the Cozilla for like just 2 hours, she said, this thing is going to become just another screen that our daughter uses for entertainment, not for organization. The Skylight Max keeps it simple. It's got calendars, tasks, rewards, meal planning, to-do list. That's it. The UI is very clean, it's fast, and it's responsive. It syncs with calendars from Google, Apple, Outlook, and Cozy. But it is worth noting that as of right now, only Google and Apple gets full two-way sync, where like the changes that you make on the Skylight will show up back on your Google and Apple calendars automatically. That's a big deal for us because my wife prefers editing on the calendar itself. I'm on my phone with Google Calendar. It all just kind of works really well for us. Now, my wife, in her infinite wisdom, explained it in a really good way that made a lot of sense to me. Maybe this will help you and make a lot of sense to you too. She said that the Cozilla is great, and it's awesome, but you're teaching it how to organize your home and your life. That unlimited choice means that you got to teach it how to work for you. Now again, nothing particularly wrong with that. It's like different strokes for different folks, right? Skylight, on the other hand, teaches you how to organize your life. Their more minimal approach means that the software and the experience is just more focused, and it does a lot more in the background for you to kind of compensate for that lack of unlimited choice. And there is no better example of this exact experience in action than the Skylight Calendar's absolute best feature, their Sidekick AI. So like, as a parent, like imagine all of those birthday invitations that just gonna get crumbled up at the bottom of your kid's backpack, school flyers that come home from a Friday, emails from a pediatrician with like appointment details like buried in like 3 paragraphs, so that always happens. Normally, you have to sort of manually type all of that stuff into a calendar. The event name, the date, the time, location, who needs to be there, so much stuff. If you already do this, you know this is the part that takes forever. This is the part that really sucks. But with Sidekick AI, instead of typing all of that stuff in, you just like take your phone and just like take a picture. Like that's it. You're gonna snap the flyer. The magic import feature kicks it over to the calendar. It just scans everything, pulls out all the relevant details, event name, date, time, address, who it's for, and adds it to your calendar automatically. It takes like 5 seconds instead of 5 minutes. Magic Import also works on emails and PDFs too. So one upload, every date is going to be on your calendar. It can also be used for recipes. Like if you want to take a picture of like a recipe, just screenshot it, insert the website of one. It uploads everything, all the ingredients, the cooking time. It can even build you a grocery list based off of those recipes, which is super cool. You can even create meal plans based off of those recipes that you upload. Now the Cozilla Plus 2 with its seemingly unlimited uses does not have this feature, but Skylight's magic import feature is amazing. And for us, it was worth the price of admission alone. But that price may actually end up being the biggest deciding factor for you in the end. But we'll get to all of that stuff a little bit later on in the video. But for now, let's talk about other things that also really matter. Setup and ease of use. The setup took us about like 2-ish hours to get the Cozilla configured like kind of how we wanted. Skylight took 20 minutes, so bear that in mind. But once you get past those first few hours of setup, you can do basically anything that you want on the Cozilla. It is a full smart display, but all that extra functionality is what ended up becoming the problem for us in the end. And my wife called it like on day 2. She said that our daughter is going to figure out how to watch shows on this thing. With the Skylight Calendar, there was none of that. She was interacting with it how we wanted her to because like its purpose was intentional, which is what we were looking for. And she also like loves like the little animations that you get whenever you like complete chores or tasks in that rewards tab. Which like you can set up for your family however you want. We have it set up so our daughter can earn ice cream as a dessert at the end of the week if she eats vegetables at least 3 times a week, which believe me, that is an accomplishment in and of itself for a toddler. Like if you know, you know. But you only get access to everything if you pay for a subscription. This is like that price part that I was talking about. Cozilla does not have a subscription fee, and that's a huge perk because these calendars are expensive. The 24-inch model is normally $699. Once you buy it, that's all you pay for, and that's a really attractive option for a lot of people. The Skylight Calendar is normally around like $569 to $599, kind of depending on which version that you want. And there is a monthly subscription fee of $7.99 a month, or you can like kind of save a little bit of money, pay it all up front at $79 a year. So what you're getting for that subscription is access to meal planning, the photo screensaver, and that awesome magic import feature. Now, you can still use things like the calendar, task list without the subscription. So Skylight says that the subscription is optional, but like, let's be real, like without the subscription, you're losing a lot of that core functionality. So it's kind of required when you think about it. But even with that extra subscription cost, the Sidekick AI and that magic import feature, those are simply going to be worth the yearly price alone, at least like in my opinion. And it should also be noted that there are smaller versions of like each one of these calendars at a lower cost for you to choose from if you prefer to have a calendar on like a kitchen table or something like that. Okay, so after all that stuff, which one belongs in your house? Well, it comes down to what role you want this calendar to play in your home and whether or not that price is gonna make sense for you. For us, the Skylight Max it made a little bit more sense. It feels more aligned with how we want to use screens in our home. Purposeful, intentional, not just another place to watch like cartoons or scroll. It's big, it's clear, the design is really clean, and it genuinely helps us stay on track. got my production schedule, my wife's teaching schedule, our daughter's activities, got the Disney days on there as well. All of that stuff is there, and nobody has to ask where anyone is anymore. And for us, that Sidekick Magic Import feature alone justifies that subscription price. But regardless of which one you pick, both of these is kind of where screen technology is heading. It's not just about the entertainment aspect anymore. It's about productivity, organization, and responsibility. And for a first-time dad just trying to keep his family coordinated between like real life and Disney trips, I will take all the help that I can get. But in the end, my wife won the argument. The Skylight stayed on our wall. The Cozilla Plus 2 is over at my friend John's house. He loves the customization, but we prefer the simplicity because sometimes less is really more. The Skylight Max calendar is an investment that you won't forget. It is the easiest way to stay on top of schedules, chores, meal planning, and more. To try it for yourself, visit the link in the description or scan the QR code that you see on the screen right now. Okay, but this was fun. For my regular audience, like I'll get back to talking about TVs after this video, but I wanna start breaking out every so often. So if you like these kind of videos, let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.